right, good morning out there. Happy Friday, happy Halloween. It is October 31st, 2025. I'm Anthony. This is Drive Dive. So, I guess, continuing to reflect on Susie Welch's book, Becoming You, and this idea of value, coupled with, right, what we value, coupled with James Clear's Atomic Habits and identity work, identity formation. Thinking a little bit more about the things that I value and where I am in life right now, and I think I've always valued money, and I think having money, I think mostly because I didn't grow up with money, is why I really value it so much. When I was growing up, and certainly now as an adult, just I guess like spending power, right, and just the ability to spend without worry, I think. And so has been a big part of me, who I am and what I value. And I couple that with just always probably something instilled in me by my mom, who I always saw as a grinder, working however many jobs, whichever jobs she needed to while we were growing up to support. I mean, I remember her working at like a motel, just cleaning rooms, right, making beds, whatever. I remember her working, always like retail, right, like Kmart, and then like getting laid off and working at Target, and just whatever she had to do. And I remember like early childhood stuff, like early memories of living in, I guess they must have been like modern, maybe townhomes, like what you would call a townhome today is maybe what they were at the time, right? All kind of sandwiched together, your own entrance, 2-story type of setup. But living in a setup like that, I remember being watched by people sort of at the other end of this complex. So and so is maybe grandmother or something to that effect. And so there must have been some times where my mom was just working. And so I think that's always been instilled in me, just this idea of like, well, you got to work and you got to get things done, and you can't sit idle, and right, you have to make things happen. And so I think for a long time, and even still, right, like I kind of value this idea, this DIY concept, right, of like you're right, doing it myself. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand with valuing money. Because if you do it yourself, you can generally get it done for cheaper, and then you have your money available for other things, right? But now I think shifting a little bit, right, and this kind of value sacrifice that Susie Welch talks about, I think I have to adjust and go more general, as something that I think James Clear suggests, right, is that you more or less have to go broad at times. I was sharing yesterday this idea of like living a healthy lifestyle is broader than saying, well, like, no, I identify as somebody who works out every single day. Well, if you get to a point in your life where you don't get to work out every single day, and that's your that's how you identify, well, you're going to struggle and feel miserable because you don't get to work out every day. Right, you're not serving your identity or casting votes for that identity, as James Clear describes it. So when you go more broadly and you say, I'm trying to live a healthy lifestyle, well, then you can think about more things that someone who maintains a healthy lifestyle does, and maybe you come up with things that aren't just work out every day, and then those other things you come up with are things that do then fit into your daily routine. And so for me, right, no, I don't get to work out every single day, but I can count my macros and I can watch what I eat and stick to my diet every single day. That's something that fits and serves that larger identity of living a healthy lifestyle. And so for now, where I'm saying like, normally I do like to do things myself, but I have to kind of not sacrifice it necessarily as Susie Welch describes, but maybe adjust it and go more broadly like James Clear describes, and just say it's not necessarily about doing it myself, but it's about like just getting it done and seeing it done. And so that's where I think I've turned to yeah, trying to hire some help, man. Whether it's with the yard work and things that I just don't have the time to do, whether it's like editing video that I don't have time to do, building a website, which I'm like, really cool, and I'm sure I have the technical knowledge enough, to figure it out over time, but time being the key issue, I just don't have. But what I do have, right, is I did recently get back into an administrative kind of, mid-level management, we'll call it, within education. And so, the salary's back up, and I guess I do have the means then to do this. So I can kind of, through some adjusting and reframing, right, of how I identify and sort of redefining or reshaping my values, I think, right, I'm able to have the money, which is something that I value, right? Get things done, which is something that I value, and then I can still maintain my healthy lifestyle, and then I can then focus on just being present with my children, right? I know I haven't said anything about that yet in this video, but that's also really important to me. And, if I'm then paying somebody to do this or that, within my life, well, then when I am needing to be present with my children, with my family, I don't need to then think about the things that aren't getting done, because they are getting done, right? It becomes someone else's responsibility, somebody that I'm paying and can not pay and find somebody else, right? Things of that nature. Anyway, the overall, our overarching theme here, right, is, values, identities, and adjusting when needed, as you go through, I don't know, the trials and tribulations of life, of I guess what Susie Welch calls, becoming you and who you are. And so, that's it. So take a moment, reflect your values, your aptitudes, your interests, all that fun stuff. And if you're not feeling great about the things you do during the course of a day, or are able to do during the course of a day, maybe it's not that you're doing anything wrong. Maybe it's just, kind of losing sight of the bigger picture and like I said, goals, values, identities, etc. And just try to reframe some of those things and, get yourself to a better place. But that's it for me. Again, happy Friday, happy Halloween if you celebrate. It only comes around once a year. Have a few pieces of candy. And, I don't know. That's it for me. Happy Friday. I will see you on Monday. Take care.